What's up, guys? This is Genetic Minority bringing you the review for SummerSlam 2015. Hopefully my mic setup is working. Let me check that before I start getting too stupid on the mic. Check, test. There we go. Sorry, I have to look at my peaks and valleys on my freaking on my recorder. So SummerSlam, interesting night. First and foremost, I need to say, still not as good as NXT Takeover, as I go to take a sip of my liquid beverage. Not as good as NXT Takeover, but serviceable. I don't know. I'll discuss that more after once I start saying words out loud. Then things will start to come together in my brain. But first and foremost, SummerSlam opens up with a 10-minute banter with Jon Stewart and Mick Foley, because Mick Foley's been on the Daily Show like twice. That's pretty much it. Like, Jon Stewart and Mick Foley. It's just to establish the fact that Jon Stewart is there. It's not even, they said he was the host. He showed up in the beginning. He showed up 2 times after that. And then that was really it. He didn't even show up in the main events. It's not like, he didn't really do anything. Jon Stewart was, well, he did do something, but Jon Stewart was there for one reason and one reason only, which was later capitalized on in the middle of the show. But yeah, he has like a little 10-minute banter just before the pay-per-view officially starts, because it starts at 7, at least in the U.S. Anyone who's foreign, I'm not sure what the time period is, because it's second time periods. But yeah, he just was there to establish the fact that he exists and was feeling some type of way about Taker's streak, and then that was pretty much it until he came out later. But first matchups, Orton versus Sheamus. Now I'm gonna try to recall events a little bit better in my head. I wrote a couple of them down, but some matches I don't have anything like that stood out, which should be a sign that nothing stood out in the match. But we'll give it the benefit of the doubt. I paid very close attention to the first match, which was Sheamus versus Randy Orton. First and foremost, I, as well as a lot of people, were calling a Sheamus cash in tonight. That did not happen. So it gives me a couple ideas of what's going on, but I'll talk about that when I get down the card. Sheamus versus Randy Orton. Early on, Sheamus is in control until, and this is one of the interesting things, Randy hits him with an exploder suplex over the top rope. Like, he just throws him straight over the top rope, which is kind of cool. But of course, Sheamus quickly gets back in control. At this point, the match it wasn't super long, but it was good. It was serviceable enough especially for the opener. Randy did get a little bit of blood. He had a cut over the eye. We did see more blood later, but Randy always seems to somehow manage to get cut in some way, shape, or form. He's not like I won't say injury prone, even though in the past he has had a lot of injuries, but he always just manages to get cut. I don't know if he's still with the cutter lifestyle, like like Arn Anderson, or excuse me as I adjust my mic. I don't know if he's down with the cutter lifestyle like Arn Anderson, or if that's just like a weird turn of events that happens. Like, he just happens to get cut. I will say that the same thing happens to Brock too, but the same thing always happens to Brock Lesnar too. He's just he doesn't get hurt. He just randomly always gets cut. But Sheamus, the turning point in this match was, what looked like it was going to be, which looked like it was going to give Orton the win. Sheamus goes for that springboard shoulder tackle that he does, and Randy Orton hits him with an RKO out of nowhere. It was out of nowhere. I honestly didn't expect it, and I thought the match was going to be over on that, because that's usually what they do. Sheamus manages to roll out of the ring, and when Randy rolls him back into the ring, Sheamus hits him with a white noise, and then he goes for a bro kick and misses. Randy tries to go for the RKO. He reverses it, hits him with one bro kick, bounces off the rope, or in the corner, bounces off the ropes, hits him with another one. 1, 2, 3, straight up, clean. There's no jankiness with this one. It was a clean victory. Sheamus got over Randy Orton, which, yeah, he needed that. He needed that because every other person, he hasn't been booked properly. He's been losing since becoming Mr. Money in the Bank, and even though that's like a normal staple of the whole Money in the Bank thing, it's like, you gotta lose matches, you gotta be a loser. It's like, no. A guy could be a winner and then cap off his entire run by cashing in Money in the Bank. It's like, well, of course he came and cashed in because who could beat him? And when he's champion, it seems even more believable. It's like he went through and he just demolished everybody, and it's like, okay, well, he demolished everybody along his way before he cashed in. Now that he's got it, I don't know who can beat him. It makes him a little bit more believable, and it doesn't hurt Randy at all for him to have lost to Sheamus, especially clean. It only thing it does is serve to leave Randy Orton exactly where he is, and it helps Sheamus. So we'll see how that goes moving forward. Hold on a second. So we'll see how that goes moving forward. So I'm also messing on my phone. I should really stop doing that. So yeah, it was a solid opening match. Next, New Day comes out, and God, if they don't make me like them with Big E and them dancing, they start singing "Welcome to New York" by Jay-Z, but instead of saying New York, they say New Day. They were just money. They were over the top. This match was great. This is the Fatal 4-Way tag match for the tag titles. You got New Day, Primetime Players, Lucha Dragons, and the Los Don't Matadors. New Day pulled something I don't think anyone ever thought of other than me. And it was just a passing thought a long time ago when I first saw like a multi-team tag match where it's like you can tag whoever you want. I was like, and Kofi and Big E get both themselves in the ring, and Kofi tries to pin Big E for the win, and WWE is like, yo, they could just, Michael Cole on the commentary table, they're all like, yeah, he can just do that. He can just straight up go and pin his own partner for the victory, and they would have won the titles. But, they immediately get Chief Keef knocked by Titus O'Neil. For the most part, this match was just was a lot of primetime players, not primetime players, now a lot of the New Day, not necessarily carrying this match, but being all the hype to this match. Like, even the crowd started to really get behind, either chanting, whether they were chanting against or chanting for, I kind of couldn't tell. And, God, if freaking Xavier Woods on the outside the ring talking about Big E's got the tricep meat market cornered. We need to get the hashtag tricep meat over, for Mania when they're still champ, or they better still be champ. Because who's gonna take it from him? There's not another over/established tag team right now. And you can't just hand it off to whoever just because it has to make sense, which in WWE most times things don't, so they'll probably be losing it to Los Matadors or something like that. And then they'll have to just hit it. Same thing when they do with Primetime Players, they'll just have to give it right back because New Day is over, even with a gimmick that clearly Vincent Kennedy McMahon thought was not going to get over because they're not dance. Like, they start dancing, so of course it's like, because you need to be dancing or angry and black in WWE if you're black, but they were just supposed to come out and be a joke, and they took that and they were like, well, whatever, if we're gonna be a joke, let's be funny instead of just annoying and like racist caricatures. They're not even really like a Baptist church thing anymore. They hardly even like tap on that whole like choir deal. They just come out and they're just goofy and they clap and they have a good time. So I can get behind those three individuals enjoying themselves with something that is clearly made to help like squash their careers. But once Darren Young gets in the ring, he's just taking a beat down the entire time from every single person that gets tagged in. For most part, it's just Kofi and Big E. At one point, he tries to crawl under the rope to go grab Kofi, who rolled out of the ring, and he just eats like a monster splash from Big E. Which, you know what, I'm going to leave that joke alone. I was going to say that it's Darren Young's dream to be squashed by Big E, but yeah, no, I'm not taking it back. It probably is. Big E's a funny dude. But New Day is in complete control pretty much the entire time. Up until Titus gets tagged in, it just clears the ring of everybody. Every single team. I'm pretty sure he even kicked Darren Young once just because. But there's a lot of confusion going on, and there is a lot of botches. There was botched Hurricane Ranas, the finish of the match was slightly botched before the finish actually happened. At the top, one of the Don't Matter Dories was at the top rope. I don't know which one. And he's supposed to get superplexed by both members of the Lucha Dragons, who are supposed to get powerbombed by Titus O'Neil. But whoever it was, and I'm assuming it was Epico, because it's not Epico. Yeah, Primo and Epico. I'm assuming it was Epico because it seems like something that would happen. I feel like Primo's been, Primo. The reason why like the save came from Primo, but I can't tell because of the mask, and I don't care enough because they don't Matadors. But one day he falls, and immediately the other Don't Matadors jumps up on the top rope and then eats this spot. But while the setup for the spot is being made, Kofi comes in and pokes, like, it's something that the ref really shouldn't notice, and especially if we get later in the show, talking about refs not noticing stuff. He comes in and just pokes Titus's shoulder, and then the ref calls the tag. So the big move happens, then Biggie comes and clears the ring, and Kofi pins whatever member of the Don't Matter Dories, and that's it. 1, 2, 3, and they're the new tag team champions. So good on them. There's no one to take their spot. So whatever. Next, Jesus Christ, we get Dolph Ziggler versus Rusev. The only thing about this match that matters is Lana's backside. Her body is out of control, and she came out dressed like like what's the chick from Greece? Jeez, I can't remember her name. Sandy. Like, she's wearing denims. She came out dressed out like some biker guy's girlfriend. She looked like she would fit perfectly back in. Anybody remember that tag team of Deuce and Domino? They were like the outsiders. Like, they were like the greasers, and they had the girl Cherry who used to roll around on skates. Like, she really just kind of looked like she'd fit in with that tag team, except she was wearing heels, of course. But yeah, she comes out dressed like Dolph Ziggler. She came out dressed in like denim with words on the back of it. I said before that Dolph Ziggler comes out dressed like a creative character in the Saints Row game. She looked like what happened when you try to get that achievement for changing your gender in the game. It's like, okay, well, I don't want to change my outfit. What does it look like on a girl? Oh, here's what it looks like. That's exactly what she came out like. She came out like dressed like female Dolph Ziggler, but not like she tried to dress like Dolph Ziggler. It was Dolph Ziggler woke up as a woman, and they decided that he needed to have proper attire, and that's what she looks like. Because she came in with a skirt instead of the trunks, but she still had to come out in denim. She looked ridiculous. But the most important part was her body, because the match is unspectacular, of course, and then it has an unspectacular ending, which is a double countout, which is just, ugh. I don't know whoever writes the stories, it's Kevin Dunn, or books the matches. Sorry about burping directly into the mic. Really sucks at their job, because everyone keeps saying fire Kevin Dunn and kill Vince, because yeah, I mean those guys are really killing WWE. Let me look this up real quick, Kevin Dunn. Because I've never heard. Sorry, I'm being completely silent. This is probably stupidly annoying. So, oh, he's just only in WWE's. He's not listed anywhere. I'm looking at Kevin Dunn, the actor. Anyway, so yeah, the only thing that matters is Lana and how attractive she is, and the fact that, okay, listen, I get it. I'm not the best looking guy ever for anyone who's ever seen me, but Summer Rae really just, every time I see her, she looks like the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz. She just got like the witchy poo nose, like a bird face. She looks like one of those weird bird creatures from Skyrim. If anyone who's ever played that. That's just me though. Next, we get Stardust and the Burger King Bear versus the Red Arrow and the Green Arrow, which they really tried really hard to not call Stephan Amell the Green Arrow. Since they're red and green, I just call them the Christmas Arrows because those are Christmas colors. So you got Stardust and the Burger King Bear versus the Christmas Arrows. The one thing about this match that all that matters is that Stephan Amell proved that he is just as good as wrestler as Tamina or the Bellas. That's pretty much it. He proved that he could actually work in the ring, and then and sell. Like, he's not the greatest, clearly. He's just, which is, we always find weird that actors don't know how to, like, I guess because they use stunt doubles, but he took a lot of heavy shots. He was in this match pretty much the whole time. It wasn't the longest match ever. But he was in this match taking some beatdowns. But he had a couple moves. He do the kip up, and he had a nice big boot, and the end. So I'm only gonna talk about this briefly because it wasn't particularly important. The end saw him diving off the top rope to take out Stardust and Burger King Barrett, then throwing Burger King Barrett into the ring, and Burger King Barrett had to eat a red arrow, and he got pinned. And that's the only reason why Burger King Barrett was in this match, to be a waste of a King of the Ring and to get pinned in this match. I kind of would have liked it if Stardust had pinned Stephen Amell. That's just me personally. I think that, one, it could set forward a feud between... it could keep pushing forward on a feud between... Oh, gosh. Stardust and Adrian Neville. But, I don't know. I mean, obviously... you can't go and beat the... I mean, he took a lot more abuse in a match than I thought any, like, just actor... Anytime they have actors or, like, TV personalities come in on the... they don't really get in the ring. They show off a couple moves, and it's like, see, look... They don't really ever take a beatdown. Stephen Amell took some beatdown in this match. I was expecting a lot less from him, so he proved his point. But I would have preferred it had he lost. Not to Burger King Barrett, because no one should ever lose to the Burger King Barrett. Except for fat people who have heart attacks from eating too much Burger King. But I would have preferred to see Stardust win, but since it was Adrian Neville pinning Burger King Barrett, which is what really annoys me about it. But whatever. What are you gonna do? It's serviceable. I can't complain. I mean, I can't complain, and I'm doing it right now. But hey, it could have been worse. I just would have preferred to see Stardust get the win over Stephen Amell, just to kind of hammer home the points. Like, Stephen Amell, you're an actor. Stay out of the WWE ring. You didn't learn, if you come back here, that means you should know you didn't learn your lesson. So take this beat down. But anyway, that's that. It was okay match. I didn't hate it. Next, we get Big Show versus The Miz versus Ryback for the IC title. To make a long story short, every time Ryback or Big Show knocked each other down, The Miz would try to weasel his way into it. God, I keep saying weasel. Weasel his way into a sneak in a pin. But the end just saw Big Show KO The Miz with a knockout punch. Those things are starting to look worse and worse every time I see them. Like, they used to look pretty good back when he first started doing them. Like, back in like 11 and 12, his knockout punches were looking solid, but now they just look really like... I get that WWE's really like, don't hit each other in the head because kids, but jeez, if he doesn't actually, like, you can eat a punch from that guy. It won't kill you, people. Like, I saw Ted DiBiase take the meanest right, Ted DiBiase Jr. take the meanest right from Jerry the King Lawler I think I've ever seen in my entire time watching WWE. It can be done. I don't know why everyone is why they let him just punch so lightly like that. No need to be pensive about it. So yeah, Ryback, Big Show KOs The Miz, and then Ryback clotheslines him out of the ring and doesn't. Man, just to not botch it, because I know, and I won't even say botch, because it's kind of hard to get Big Show to something like clothesline him over the top rope. I'd have preferred him kind of like went for a shell shock or something like that and just dumped him over the top rope. But hey, it worked, and it didn't look great, but it didn't look terrible like how I've seen it in the past. People had to go for 2 clotheslines. He just like straight up like, get out of this ring, Big Show, and he pins The Miz. So The Miz is a loser, and that's great because they're never gonna revisit Mizdow versus Miz. Apparently, Miz just gets his one win, and Mizdow never gets his. Damien Sandow will never be back on TV ever again. Because thanks to Hulk Hogan being a racist. And that sucks. Next, we get Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper versus Cockfist and the 88 Fringe, Dean Ambrose. The 88 Fringe just spent the entire time getting beat up in this whole match, and Roman Reigns was asleep on the outside. He got knocked out on the outside by the announce table one time, and even the crowd started to chant Roman sleeping. But the end of this match saw Dean and Roman just go all Super Saiyan God and get the clean victory. Roman spears and spears Bray Wyatt and gets the clean victory over him, which kind of sucks. I believe they're just trying to drag this out because Eric Rowan is still hurt, and Seth Rollins is busy, so they can't do a revival of the Shield right now, which they should still wait on because WWE doesn't know how to wait. So, what am I? I'm losing track of it. Yeah. So yeah, the Idiot Fringe doesn't. The Idiot Fringe and Cockfist managed to win. It was an okay match. I'm not even really be talking about the matches. I don't think. But because matches don't matter. Or not, they don't matter. A lot of them are just kind of meh. So yeah, that's the thing that happened. I don't like how clean it was because it's just like I actually don't like the fact that Roman won. Like the crowd wasn't behind Roman, obviously, which is it's Brooklyn. But on the flip side, it's like okay, stop with the whole Roman's not the new Cena. You can get over yourself. But on the flip side of it is like Roman needs to show like him getting such a clean win over him makes it seem like Roman can't beat Bray without the help of Dean Ambrose, which I don't know how to feel about that because Dean's never beaten Bray, so it's a weird thing. It's just weird. I'd actually preferred something not janky. That's really predictable, but I preferred Luke Harper eat the pin instead of Bray. That's really it. Because such a clean pin looks bad on Bray just because and it makes Luke Harper look like he sucks as a partner. So it just looked bad for the whole team because Bray. Like if Luke Harper ate the pin, it's like whatever. Everyone's sheep to Bray, so of course he ate that pin. Also I'd like to mention at some point, and that's the last time I'm going to talk about that match. I'd like to mention at some point Jon Stewart was backstage and he wanted to get an interview with Brock Lesnar, which is what the opening segment was about, but it doesn't matter. But Paul Heyman basically clowns him and shoos him off as I drink my liquid beverage, and he just kind of laughs him off, and then Jon Stewart goes away. And that's the second time throughout the night you saw Jon Stewart, and you did not see him again until this next thing. That was the last time you saw him until this thing. You got Seth Rollins versus John Cena, and was a decent match. More importantly, Seth Rollins came out dressed like the White Power Ranger, and that was awesome. Coming out like the White Ranger Jesus with his long black hair. He actually looks exactly like the White Ranger because the White Ranger was Jason David Frank or whatever his name is. I'm honestly blanking right now. I believe it's Jason David Frank. Also had long hair, which is kind of cool. I don't know if that's inspired by it. I hope so. But mostly it was a stamp on something I had heard in a different podcast, which is if you show up and you're wearing gold in your outfit, you're winning that match. Because New Day did it, Bayley did it last night, and then tonight it's also Seth Rollins comes out with gold. He comes out in gold and white. Bayley came out in gold and white. New Day came out in gold and white. You come out in gold and white, you're winning your match pretty much. So, or you're winning a championship. Everyone who won a championship was wearing gold and white. Or everyone who was, technically Ryback was walked out with the gold and white IC title, so he was also wearing gold and white. I'm gonna count it, even though it's kind of a stretch. I'm gonna count it too. But yeah, so this match is pretty solid. Something I want to point out. People are gonna think I'm crazy. I think I'm delusional or stupid. Did anybody, and I'm gonna ask this in the comment section, tell me how you feel, if you feel like telling me how you feel. But I'd hope that more people other than Declan comment. Did anybody else feel that this was the slight babyface turn of Seth Rollins? Like, I get that he's still a heel, and he will continue to be a heel up until Cena takes those titles from, which is, oh my god, it's gonna be so annoying. But anyway, He shouldn't, but he probably will. Probably do it at Night of Champions. And I'll talk about that in a second. Um, Did anybody else feel like this was maybe it's just because he was in Brooklyn and people were cheering for him because Cena is completely detestable as not only as a wrestler but as a human being, and they were trying so hard to make Cena look like he's a great guy. He's granted the most wishes out of anybody at Make a Wish. It's like, okay, well, the organization's only existed for 35 years, and what other star goes out, like what other famous person do kids see that is not just like a cartoon character or something that they look up to and wanna meet? I'm pretty sure Cena just shows up and goes, "Hey, do you got any kids that haven't had their wish made yet? Well, let them meet me and then put it on the books." Because no one counts. Who's counting the fact that he granted 500 wishes? Of course you grant 500 wishes when you do one in every city. Like, you do like 8 of them in every city that you go to. It's like, oh, this kid, every time you see John Cena, he's got like 2-3 kids with him. So if you grant 2-3 wishes every single day or every single city you go to over the past, like, what, 10 years, yeah, you're probably going to rack up a lot of wishes. He probably only took time off when those times that he was injured. And actually, that's a lie. He probably just took time off while he's out on the road, and then those times that he was injured, he went overtime on it, because he was doing them even when he had the freaking baseball on his elbow with Daniel Bryan. So not only do they show him doing Make-A-Wish stuff, they show him talking to firefighters and whatnot about 9/11. It's like, can't you just, like, I lived in New York City during 9/11. Let it go, okay? Like, listen, I'm a New Yorker. I lived in New York City during 9/11. It sucked. It sucked to see people die. I know of someone. My grandmother knew someone who died in the towers. It was a terrible local tragedy, okay? Despite what you may think, it was not a national tragedy. Tragedies are not national, ever. Ever in the United States of America are tragedies. Why am I getting political? John Cena, they tried to make 9/11 about John Cena. That's the point, okay? And I have the personal opinion that tragedies, wherever they happen, are local. Unless it's like multiple of the same kind of... I think tragedies are local, not national. Not every single thing is national tragedy. Like, Twin Towers attack because it affected a lot of the other places other than New York. Okay, maybe national, but a lot of other stuff like shootings, like school shootings, they're local. They're not national. That's the point I'm trying to make. But they tried to they tried to use 9/11 to catapult Cena being such a great guy. But that won't work in Brooklyn because New Yorkers aren't dumb, for the most part. So Cena just seemed like a super heel this entire match, and Seth seemed like a face, and I don't know, because the end of the match, let's just talk about the end of the match. The end of the match saw the ref get knocked out, and Jon Stewart came in and with what I can only describe as Lana Grace, which is like he kind of gives, like, he's not good enough at being able to hide the tell. Like, he kind of like walked too close to Cena, like walked too close and gave the look to Cena, waiting for him to get into the proper spot. And I don't want to see tomorrow with Cena just like making fun of the fact that Jon Stewart, like, smiling and whatnot. He should feel ashamed and disgraced. He's no longer United States champion. He's a loser, but he won't, because it's John Cena. He doesn't care. But yes, Jon Stewart comes in and hits Cena in the stomach with a chair, throws the chair down, lets Seth pedigree him on top of the chair. Seth pushes the chair out of the ring and gets the pin, leaves the WWE World Heavyweight Champion and the new United States Champion. Now, I want you guys to vibe with me for a minute and tell me if I'm crazy, okay? But Seth comes out in white with his long black hair. Cena comes out in these bright garish colors, mostly looking like high C ecto coolers / old school Gatorade. But Seth comes out in all white with his long black hair, and despite that he's done some or hung out with bad people and been, and done bad things, Cena is the one that constantly promises all these great things but never delivers them. Did it feel like to anybody else that this was kind of like a Seth Rollins is our true savior, like, feel like Cena is a false prophet and Seth is the true like it's kind of Jesus-y. He comes out all white, and John Cena comes out with his lies. They're lies. Of like doing it for the fans and blah 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 blah. When Cena actually does it for his own ego, I mean, the packages of him with the 9/11 stuff and the Make-A-Wish kids, that was enough proof to me. Oh, as long as Make-A-Wish will keep having me, and so long as WWE will keep letting me. What are you saying? When you leave WWE, you're gonna stop doing, or are you saying that you're gonna constantly be with WWE forever? Because that's your, once again, this goes back into Cena's ego. But it just felt a little bit like this was a mild face turn, like a little bit of like kind of like, not, I don't want to say Jesus imagery, but yeah, kind of Jesus like imagery of Seth Rollins, of being the true savior, not the false prophet that John Cena is. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. Maybe I'm just crazy. I'm stupid. Maybe I should stop doing crystal meth. But I don't know. That's just me. A lot of people weren't super happy about the whole Jon Stewart interference, mostly because that means that Cena will get a rematch. But here's the thing. In WWE, you need to listen to me very, very carefully. People, please go and hit the like button. And if you will, tweet this particular video at WWE. If you have Facebook, put this video link into a Facebook comment and put this on WWE's Facebook. And make sure you type in exactly this time period wherever it shows up on the video. WWE, you cannot, I repeat, cannot give John Cena a WWE World Heavyweight title rematch. John Cena was the United States champion. He lost that title according to quote-unquote rules, the kayfabe. According to the kayfabe of wrestling, a champion gets a rematch for their championship. If he invokes tomorrow, if he invokes a rematch clause and he says the WWE World Heavyweight title is on the line, Seth Rollins should immediately tell him, no, you lost the U.S. title, you can have your U.S. title rematch. Other than that, get to the back of the line. You need to win a number one contender spot. You have no title, you lost your title to me, and his United States title rematch does not affect a WWE title rematch. He does not get a second shot at the WWE World Heavyweight title because he gets a rematch for the United States title. Now, I get that because it's Night of Champions, both titles need to be on the line. You know what? I don't care. I do not care, because more than likely what they're going to do is give that title to Cena. They want to give it to him so he can have it and then just be marked off as tying Flair and eventually beating Flair. Once again, mark my words, he will go 20-time world champion before he finally, barring an unforeseen injury, fingers crossed, he will be a 20-time world champion before the end of his career, which will be into his 40s, possibly 50s, because that's just, his ego refuses to allow him to leave, or will just walk away. At Night of Champions, despite it being a dumb idea, Vince will allow John Cena, he will eventually allow John Cena to take the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, because Tables, Ladders, and Chairs is in Boston, Massachusetts. So you have Night of Champions, Hell in a Cell, Survivor Series, and then TLC. So you have 3 pay-per-views before they go to Boston, and they want a title on Cena for Boston. That's it. But at Night of Champions, John Cena should not be getting a WWE World, despite the fact that every title is supposed to be on the line, he should not be getting a WWE World Heavyweight Championship match unless and they'll probably cock up some stupid way, like he's like, oh, if every title's on the line, why don't you just put your WWE on? Again, it's like, no, he shouldn't have to put up both titles against one guy. You want him to defend that WWE World Heavyweight Championship? Have him defend it against somebody else. I know that doesn't sound like much. Have him defend it against, I don't know who. Jon Stewart. I don't know. I don't care. I don't care who he defends it against. It just better not be John Cena, because that'd be stupid. It would be dumb, because we know John Cena's going to take it, because who else can hold it? And yes, the whole end game is to have Seth lose it. Because, and the reason why Seth does have to lose it is because, and does have to lose the United States title as well, is because, and this would make more sense. But let me something I just thought of would make more sense. But Seth has to lose both so he can have the inevitable fall. Which, once again, this goes back to the imagery that we were showing tonight. Him in all white, the death of the prophet, the future, the savior, the fall of Seth Rollins, and his rebirth must come at the expense of him being so high up, having been WWE and United States champion, and then this big fall, which this would go hand in hand with him facing Cena for the United States title, not for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, for the United States title. Cena being, and they're never going to do this because Cena has to always be a good guy, but Cena being upset that he can't get, like, Cena can beat him. Cena will beat him, take the United States title back, whatever. But Seth is still leaving WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Then you have Sheamus cash in. And Seth's character now has to take this huge fall from being tip top of the ladder and have it just be immediately ripped from him. And if you have the authority, just immediately turn their back on him, it would make his character that much better. Or that much more interesting, at least, because you had him at a point, especially when he comes back around to rejoining the Shield in what'll probably only be a couple months. It builds more into his character because I was at the top. I need to, either one, as a face, I need to get back to being at the top, and I now understand everything I did right and wrong going up. Or, even if he stays a heel, I need to get back to the top because there is no other choice. I can't be at the bottom anymore. I'm better than everybody else. So, either way, him not losing the WWE World Heavyweight title to Cena is better. Cena shouldn't win the US title from him either. We should just give it to Kevin Owens, but it should be on Kevin Owens the same way the IC title should be on Bray Wyatt. But, you know, WWE doesn't want to put the two fat guys with the title because, God forbid, we have some fat guys with the titles. Same way, God forbid, we have some black guys with the titles. Except for the New Day, but they gotta dance and be angry and black. So, unless you, whatever. I'm not even gonna do it. Next, we get the Divas Revolution match. I don't care. I don't care about this match, especially after last night with what Bayley and Sasha Banks did. This match was freaking stupid. The only thing I will say was great, which was that Becky Lynch got the winning pin over, I believe it was, oh god, I can't even remember. Becky Lynch got the winning pin over, was it Alicia Fox or one of the Bellas? Whatever. Becky Lynch got the winning pin for Team PCB, aka the Submission Sorority, aka Dorm Invasion, aka Team Brazzers, aka insert porn logo here. That's all. And it just made me love Becky Lynch even more just because she's so Irish, and I love it. I love her with her Irish ways. I wish she had jet black hair instead, but I like the bright red, but that's just me. I wish it was a natural red, not that bright, garish, bottle red. She came in with a top hat, which just makes her look all steampunk. She's all steampunk and Irish, and that makes me love her. Next, we get, that's all that matters. Becky Lynch got the pin, the win it all. Team Bad got eliminated first, which, of course, because they're black, and Sasha Banks. I'm not 100%, I believe Sasha Banks is Puerto Rican. But I haven't looked it up, so don't quote me on that. But my best guess would be she's some kind of Latino, Spanish, or Hispanic. And they got eliminated first because Tamina got pinned. Because, God forbid, we had the Bellas straight up just get eliminated first. And God forbid, Nikki defends her title. And she better lose that thing to Sasha Banks immediately. Like, Night of Champions, that title better come right off her, and Sasha Banks better do a laundry blaze and throw it in the garbage and go grab the Divas title or the Women's Championship, because that's ridiculous. I better not see Sasha Banks walk around for 2 seconds with the Divas Championship. She is not a diva at all. I get that she's a quote-unquote diva, like, because she calls herself boss and she's a heel and all that, but no, she's not a diva. She's not Divas Champion. If she becomes Divas Champion and holds that title, her or Charlotte need to take Nikki Bella's reign and just completely stomp it and be Divas Champ for like 2 years. Because other than that, it's no point in, which is even dumber. If they do change the title, it's dumb that it's just dumb petty garbage from Vince McMahon that they let her hold Nikki hold that title for so long. And if not, it's even dumber if Nikki is the longest reigning Divas champion all time, because that would be stupid. Nikki Bella couldn't beat my 2-year-old brother, okay? She could walk into a room, my little brother would kick her right in the knee, and I'd watch her topple over, okay? Actually, not in the knee. She's constantly slamming down on those, whether in the ring or whether in the bed for Cena. So maybe not in the knee, but seriously, she can't beat my 13-year-old sister. She could not. Like in a fight, my sister would beat her down to the ground. So I do not suspect that she will be holding the Divas Championship for longer than anybody else. Next, we get Kevin Owens versus Cesaro. It's a good match. It's shorter than I expected, or shorter than I wanted it to be. But you need time for Taker and Brock. But it was a solid match. Kevin Owens gets the win. He needed it. Cesaro also needed it. I don't know what to tell you about that. I prefer Kevin Owens to get it because Kevin Owens has a chance to become a big star in WWE. Not that Cesaro doesn't, but we know Vince isn't gonna really. Vince is doing his best to not use any of the Indies guys. So I mean, when you look at all the stuff that's going on in WWE right now, tired. Vince is not looking to build any of the Indies guys to be at the top right now, because he's a petty douche nozzle. Because he did it for CM Punk, or not? That's a lie. CM Punk did it for himself, and then walked away because Vince is a douche nozzle. Sorry, that Undertaker laughing stuff that's going on the internet. That Undertaker laugh is by far the funniest thing in the world right now. And the New Day dancing gifs are the funniest thing in the world right now. But yeah, Kevin Owens gets a well-deserved win. He needed one, especially after having to tap out to Cena. But it doesn't really feel that much because Cesaro just came off of getting beat by Cena 3 times in a row. So it's bittersweet, because this was a kind of no matter who wins, both people lose, because we know where this is going, which is not good because it's WWE and they don't know how to book anything. But hey, what are you gonna do? Next we get, as I mess up with my ear. Sorry, I move the mic a lot to mess with my ear because I have like weird ear problems. Next we get the main event, which is at least I think this is the last thing. Next we get Undertaker versus Brock. It's a good match, okay? First, it was a good match where Undertaker managed to do a lot better than I thought he was going to do. I think a lot of people thought he was going to do. He didn't look like a broken down old man. It was good. It told a story of, the struggle and strife Undertaker had with this whole, losing to Brock and all that. And it was solid. Brock F5s him through a table. He barely gets back in the ring to save himself from losing. And then you have like a bunch, tombstones and F5s and the end of the match, to make a long story short, the end of the match saw Undertaker get slapped in a Kimura lock, but then and JBL kind of called the spot a little bit early. He was just like, "Oh, Brock's shoulders are down." He got caught in the Kimura lock, the armbar, and he managed to get Brock on his shoulders, not on top of his shoulders, but his shoulders pinned to the mat. And then the ref was going for the count, and then next you just hear the timekeeper ringing the bell. So you're like, first I thought maybe it was like Kane messing, and like they were gonna pan over and it was Kane ringing the bell to kind of mess with the ref to get the distraction. saying, I'm the director of operations. You do what I tell you. I say yada yada yada, or I ring the bell if I want, something. But no, it wound up being even dumber than that. The timekeeper apparently, despite the fact that the ref didn't see it, saw the Undertaker tap out. That's what happened. This is what is said before we see what is just the stupidest thing ever. Right when the ref goes for the pin, it was very like CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan-esque, where it was like bad timing. Uh, you know, it was just bad timing. Like I don't know on who, the Taker. It was just bad. It was just a bad ending. Undertaker. They show the secondary angle with Undertaker tapping out, but the ref doesn't see it because it's on the other side of the ref. The ref's looking at Brock's shoulders to see that they're on the mat. He doesn't see Undertaker tapping out right when the count starts. But they showed that after before ref lets the match continue. Undertaker low blows Brock again, and then makes a pass out with the Hell's Gate, which they don't call it that. They just say like the choke or something like that. I don't think they ever called it Hell's Gate. But right before Brock passes out, he manages to flip off the Undertaker, and that's like he passes out with his finger up, and it was pretty funny, and it was like a funny thing to add. But if that was like part of the ending, and not the whole janky Undertaker tapping out, but the match not getting ended, and that was the end instead of like Brock's like, I'm not gonna tap out to you. You didn't beat me, or like you didn't win, I lost. Like that kind of logic. It's like you didn't beat me, I just didn't win. Like that's all that is. Like you didn't win, I just didn't win. You didn't win, I lost. You didn't beat me though, I just didn't win. It's confusing, I understand. But so that was that was the thing, and of course they show the end that the Undertaker did tap out, which dilutes it even more. If they had just said the timekeeper said he thought he saw Undertaker tap, and and then the ref, him stepping out of his bounds to say no, Undertaker tap, because you hear Paul Heyman screaming it, and they didn't show it, and they didn't have Undertaker tap. They just had like him, or like maybe him just like punching, or like trying to hit the shoulder of Brock, and then that there's the litany of things they could have did. One of which not had that at all. But if they were gonna do it, they could have just shown. So they didn't have. They don't show it to us. Don't show us the. It's it's when SpongeBob puts all the paintings on Mr. Krabs' first dollar after he's gotten paint on it, and Mr. Krabs moves him out of the way, and SpongeBob screams, "Don't look at the trick." That's exactly what it is with WWE. Don't look at the trick. The trick being that the Undertaker did tap out, but the ref didn't see it. It's like, I don't want to see that. I want to see the Undertaker get his clean win, because the fact of the matter is he's losing at Mania, and it's gonna be his last match. Because we need Brock to look strong for Brock versus Rock at WrestleMania 33. Overall, outside of the crappy ending, overall I give this pay-per-view, if I had to stack it up next to NXT TakeOver, it'd get like a 5. But for this match card not being anything, and for me not being invested into anything on the stepping line, I was not even invested in the main event with Taker and Brock. I was not invested in Kevin Owens versus Cesaro. I'm still technically not. I was definitely not invested in the Divas at all. I'm still not. I'm not. I'm only invested in Becky Lynch. I'm not invested in Bray and Harper versus the Idiot Fringe and Cockfist. I'm not invested in Burger King Barrett and Stardust versus the Christmas Arrows. I'm not invested in Dolph Ziggler and Rusev. I wasn't at the time invested in New Day. I wasn't invested in Sheamus versus Randy Orton. But for a match card that had nothing for me personally, and I think for a lot of people, it was serviceable. I'd give this pay-per-view on a scale, the scale of 1 to 10. I'd give it a 5.5. But standing up next to NXT Takeover, it would probably go down in like a 4. Just that Bayley versus Sasha Banks match really, really was really well. It was really good. And it really helped push the pay per view over. Uh, Overall, yeah, I give it like a 5.5. SummerSlam wasn't a complete, went better than expected, so to speak. The botched springboard stunner that was so bad that by Cena that was so bad that Stone Cold Steve Austin had to tweet about it, and the ending to that Taker match and the Divas match as a whole, and the ending to the Dolph Ziggler Rusev match, really counted against the pay per view. Like New Day winning was cool. Sheamus getting a clean victory over Randy was cool. Uh, you know, I didn't care either way with the whole Stardust and Burger King Barrett versus the Christmas Arrows. You know, Big Show versus The Miz is like I didn't care either way. It's good to see that The Miz didn't weasel out with the title and that Ryback got to keep it. I don't know who's gonna go up against next. Probably just Miz 1-on-1. Um, so like there was a lot. There were some things I didn't care about, some things I hated, but there was stuff that was kind of cool. So, but the stuff that sucked was really bad, and it counted against it. Like it did duck points. You get a point for, the Undertaker and Brock. You got a point for Cena's, sucking at that springboard center. Yes, it was really that bad that I need to deduct a point for that. You got a point off for Nikki Bella not defending her title at that stupid Divas match, and then another point for Team Bag getting eliminated first, just wasting. They didn't even use Sasha Banks, like nowhere near to the effect that she was used to take over. And I get like, okay, you don't want to over with her. Maybe you don't want to have her win, but they at least could have had the Bella's team get eliminated first. So there you go. That's 4 points right now, knocked off out of possible 10. Then you've got the botches that happened in the Fatal 4 tag match that were like, it was a lot of them, but I'm only counting it all as one. You got the end of that Rusev versus Ziggler match. That's for 6 points right there. If I was really gonna take off a point for each thing, I take back the botches at the end of that Fatal 4-Way tag, simply because it's something you just can't do when the match is fast paced with a bunch of high flyers or whatnot. Sometimes stuff happens, or just that many people in the ring. Sometimes things happen. So you got 5 points off. I'm kind of giving them a pass on the end of Taker versus Brock, because the match was pretty solid, or at least better than I thought it was gonna be. So that's pretty much the end all be all. It's like went better than expected, but still could have been a lot better. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Tell me how you feel about the show in the comment section below. Give me a thumbs up if you agreed. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't. If you give me a thumbs down, could you please explain why you didn't like what I had to say? Some kind of contrary. Don't just give me a thumbs down and then walk away. Give me an explanation. I don't like being in the dark. I'm afraid of the dark. I'm not really, but whatever. Join me maybe tomorrow. I'm not 100% on whether or not I'll be around to do a Raw review. I may be busy. I may be busy working, but maybe I'll be around. Hopefully, I'll be around tomorrow. If not, literally, like, I record Raw, so I'll run through it real fast, put out a review at like 2, 3 in the morning, and you guys can hear it then. But for the most part, don't be shocked if you don't get a review from me tomorrow, and you don't see one from me until Tuesday. Well, you usually don't see it from me until Tuesday morning anyway. Whatever. Just don't be shocked if I wound up not doing a review at all, because I was completely busy and I just passed out when I got home. So yeah, just let me know how you felt about the pay-per-view and this review of it in the comment section below. Give me a thumbs up if you're feeling what I have to say. If you're coming from an account, you want to hear more of what I have to say. If you're listening to this through an account, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Those things are free. In the comment section, just let me know. Those things are free. It takes how much of your time? Not that much. It doesn't. If you really think it does, I've seen plenty of you motherfuckers on trying to be keyboard warriors for other garbage on the internet. Like, if it was a wrestling video from WWE, you guys would be all up in the comment section. If this was the pay-per-view video, oh, this was garbage, that was garbage, you can spare a couple seconds of your lives and just let me know how you were feeling, whether you liked it, whether you hated it, whether you like me, whether you hate me. You can spare, if you like me, a thumbs up. You can spare, if you hate me, a thumbs down. You can spare, hit the subscribe button. It's right there on the screen. It's not like I'm not linking you directly to my freaking channel so you can go and peer through my entire catalog. Just, hey, hit that subscribe button if you think you want to hear more reviews. Other than that, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.